Hey, I want to share my experience, and also I want to put this topic up for discussion. So it's not that, oh, I know something and I'm teaching everyone else. It's more like we're all students, we're all teachers, we're all equal. And so what I want to talk about is like the challenges or the pitfalls of sitting with what is. The other day I saw a post somewhere on social media that was like, just feel your emotions, just heal your trauma, just feel. And if you can do that, great. But also, what if you can't just feel? Or what if there's something where you just go into, you're taking a big detour because there's something that you're just falling into a trap, basically. So first of all, what I've experienced is if there isn't enough capacity in the nervous system, then sitting with what is, it's just not going to work. So I feel like there's an assumption that you can just sit, just be, just do like a Vipassana retreat and just sit all day long. And I mean, maybe for some people that's fine, but if there's a lot of trauma and there's a split from the body, and you live in your mind because it's just so unsafe to feel the body, then that's just an overwhelming amount of too much sitting. And when I was, trying to meditate, I would just get into huge dysregulation states, and I would just freak out. I could not sit with this charge, and I always thought something is wrong with me. What is wrong with me? People say just sit, just meditate, just feel it all. But when you feel like a tornado and it rips you into shreds, is that healthy when there's a lot of trauma? But those things are not usually emphasized. It's like, oh yeah, that's just mind, but trauma isn't mind, it's in the body. And so that's my first observation. There needs to be a sense of safety in the body so you can really sit with things. There needs to be the capacity of the nervous system to hold the intensity of what might come up. And this might not be relevant for everyone. For some people, that there isn't just so much trauma. I mean, I do believe that everybody has trauma. It's traumatizing to just be a separate being in this realm here. But it seems like some people have more trauma and some have less. And so for some, they can just sit, and others, it's just overwhelming. So that as my first observation, is there enough capacity to fully go in? And one thing would be like trying little moments of sitting and then regulating again, and not taking on like a huge long sitting when it just feels overwhelming. And there might be like the need for co-regulation or trauma healing work, or just little moments of sitting and not overwhelming the system. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is, it can feel that sitting with what is, like, there's just nothing is happening. Sometimes they're sitting and there's a beautiful release, and it's like, oh yeah, it feels like something came up and I fully felt it. I didn't go into the stories of the mind, didn't spin the mind loop. I felt the sensations in the body. And then it just seems to move through, and there's this beautiful sense of release or completion, at least for the moment. Not forever, but for the moment, something was digested, released, moved through, and it feels very good. And other times, it seems like, for example, I'm sitting for a long time, and I'm sitting and sitting and sitting, and it seems like nothing is moving, and I'm sitting and sitting and sitting, nothing is moving. Even if I, don't go into thoughts and stories, even just watching the sensations of my body, and there's like a resistance, but I can't really touch the resistance. Like the thoughts, it seems like I can drop the thoughts, or I can see, oh, that's the layer of thought. I can become less interested in this thought layer and drop into the body. But then there's a somatic resistance. What then? And I guess, one thing is like, okay, then distract, do something else, stop hyper focusing on trying to get this anywhere, or trying to feel this, or trying to heal this. But also I had a really interesting conversation with a friend of mine about this. And then I saw there's this pitfall of the separate self is sitting with the resistance and trying to love the resistance, but can't love the resistance. But it's really like, I'm trying to do it. And so he said, it's like meeting this sensation with a curiosity, with an appreciation, and wanting to understand it. And I guess he doesn't mean like a mental understanding, but more like I want to build a relationship with this. I want to get to know this. I guess you could say I want to love it, but the word love is a little bit a tricky word. So it's like an acceptance, a curiosity, an appreciation, and like a softening. He gave me this image of melting the edges of the resistance, but not from I want to get rid of you, but from just softening. Like a kind, loving awareness is holding the sensations. And so, of course, it is really difficult to be completely identified, completely like I am the sensation, and that's all there is. When there's more space around it, it's like there's this huge loving field of presence and awareness, and within that there's a contraction. But then I'm not completely immersed in only the sensation, but it's like I'm holding a dual focus, like this vastness, and then also there is the contraction or the sensation inside of that field of vastness. And that field is not a sterile, lifeless, careless, cold, empty space, but it's this loving presence of God. So we love the word God, because for me, even the word presence, it can sometimes, or awareness, it can just be like, that's like the universe. Like when people are in the spaceship and there's this universe, and if you don't have your spacesuit, you're just dying in this black, cold space. And so I always have to remind myself, like, presence is, I translate that with God, and God is like unconditionally loving and caring and accepting. And I personally find it really hard, love yourself, forgive yourself. Like, I have a hard time. This person, he has a hard time with letting love in, because love never felt safe. And I understand it's a mental pattern, but it still lives as an imprint in the body, like this bracing against love. It seems like my mind is always makes me forget this loving awareness. And I have to really remind myself to tap into that again, into this loving presence, loving awareness, not just cold, sterile awareness, which is a concept. That's not really how awareness is, but everything gets filtered through my mind, and I have to, be careful. That's like it's like one of these pitfalls, this cold, detached awareness, and that's like a traumatized child that sits alone and nobody is there, and it's a bit like that, sitting. I tell myself, I'm sitting in awareness, but I forget that awareness is a loving space. And I feel like I'm a child kind of like sitting with horrible sensations, but I'm alone. But there's just this cold, detached observer that doesn't care. And so that's like my personal, like, you have to remind yourself, you fall back into that and bring yourself out of that, like noticing, right, And so for me, it helps to use the word God. This, like I bring whatever I have, I bring it and lay it at the feet of God. And like, I cannot resolve these contractions and tensions. I cannot do it. The separate self cannot do it. So I kind of hand it over, and that helps me to get into a state of surrender, rather than I got to do it and I'm doing it wrong, and the strong I, me. And then, okay, I surrender. I hand it over to God, and then God is already loving, because human love is so tricky, isn't it? Human love is conditional, and it's never going to be as complete as God's love, as the love of existence. And so that is like, wow, it's so good to remember that. So I wanted to, bring this in this video. And I mean, there's other pitfalls too. There's so much more, Another one is like, sitting with what is, but completely dissociating from this human body and this experience and blissing out in meditation and thinking I'm sitting with what is, but I'm just completely dissociating out of the body. And then I'm not sitting with what is, I'm just kind of like leaving the body and blissing out, but detaching from what I actually feel. That's another one, that people meditate and they're blissed out, but they're not in touch with the repressed stuff and the deeper, darker stuff. But yeah, I don't want to make this video too long. I would like to start a conversation on this. How does this land for you, what I've said? Have you had a similar experience, or what has been challenging for you in this process of sitting with what is? What has been challenging for you? What has been helpful for you? Or anything you want to share around this, and we can grow together and explore together. And I'm open to feedback, like I don't know it all. I'm in the process. I like talking about it, but also I'm happy to say I might be wrong. I might be seeing something. I might be not seeing something. I don't know. Like I'm okay with the beginner's mind. It's like I don't know, but still it's nice to talk about it and walk each other home. So yeah, dig in. Write a comment. Let me know. Like, yeah. Let's have a conversation. Yeah. Okay.